Okay, good morning. Let's get started. I'm Kenta Motsuki from Yahoo Japan Corporation. Today, we would like to hold a session titled Safe and Secure Cyberspace for Use, Solutions for Asia and Africa. As written in our workshop proposal at IGF website, because of the widespread of smartphones, more and more people, especially young people, are using social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, many kinds of BBCs, and so on, so for their communication and expression. In addition, there's a growing tendency that young people also share their opinions, pictures, and short videos through social media. On the other hand, this trend also gives rise to a negative effect. I mean, easy access to illegal and harmful online contents, including contents which aid, abet, or encourage criminal acts, inappropriate contents, racist contents, hate propaganda, and others. The access to such contents cause serious problems, and in worst-case scenario, these problems cause physical impacts in the real world, like bullying, suicide, or several criminal cases such as assault, battery, or even murder. Therefore, an urgent response to these issues is undoubtedly required. But having said that, what kind of responses would be effective to address these issues and the challenges? Who should take appropriate measures and how? To discuss answers to these questions, we held a similar workshop at Asia-Pacific Regional Internet Governance Forum this July. This time, we would like to discuss the same issues by expanding a geographical scope to Asia and Africa, and also by inviting youth panelists in order to listen to honest voices from youth perspective. We invite 5 distinguished institutional and youth speakers, although Dr. Sekane, President of African Civil Society on the Information Society, cannot join us today. The diverse speakers are, please raise your hand. First, Dr. Makoto Yokozawa, Senior Consultant, Nomura Research Institute, Business Professor at the Graduate School of Informatics, Kyoto University. Second, Ms. Veronica Donoso, Executive Director, International Association of the Internet Hotline, IHOP. Third, Mr. Arsene Tungare, a co-founder and Executive Director, Ludi International. Fourth, Mr. Raymond Yang, Ambassador, NetMission Asia. And finally, Ms. Cherry Wong, Representative, Hong Kong Youth Internet Governance Forum. About today's agenda, first, each panelist makes a presentation on his or her activity or the current situation to protect youth online in a certain country. I will open the floor for short Q&As in between each presentation to make our session more interactive, so please do not hesitate to ask any questions you may have. After finishing all presentations, we would like to move on to panel discussions. There, I will invite some comments on 3 key questions from each panelist. After that, and if time allows, we would also like to invite some questions from the audience again. Finally, as a closing remarks, I would like to invite some brief comments from all of the panelists here. So because the time is limited, I would like to leave these opening remarks here and move to the presentations. So first, Dr. Yokozawa, please start your presentation.
Thank you, moderator. Well, I think this room is a little bit noisy from the outside. So I recommend all of the panelists to talk into the microphone very closely. All right. So let me start with my slides. Okay. Which one? Sorry. My name is Mako Yokozawa, and I work for a private consulting company, and also I am a visiting professor at Kyoto University, and I have okay, yes, this one. Okay, thank you. All right. So this issue regarding the safe and secure cyberspace for the youth and children is a very, very important issue. And I have a good experience to talk about this in APEC, which is the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation, and also the APR IGF in this year in Taipei. So Mr. Mochizuki has kindly organized the similar session in the Taipei APR IGF in this year. So based on this experience, to have talked with many people in the other arena, I have a sense of the collaboration framework is very, very essential to achieve our goal, which is protecting the child online. So my presentation title is Collaborative Framework in Youth Protection Online. So I will begin with some of the good categories of which is the online risks for the youth. In this slide, I have borrowed this one from the MIC, which is a Japanese government Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication. They have categorized what sort of the risks actually exist for the child and the youth. So one is as you can see, this part. Okay, so, I will read loudly, so just forgive me. So there is three categories for the online risks. So one is the illegal and harmful content risks. The second one is inappropriate use risk. And the third one is privacy and security risk. So these three risks can be separated, broken down into the many subcategories. But I think this is a very good categorization and to help us to understand, to have a common understanding of what kind of the risks we are facing or the youth are facing. So this is only one. So, and the other one is the Japanese government is trying to have indicator of which sort of the risks is currently the most one, or the second one, or the three one, and annually which risk of these three categories are growing or mitigating. So this sort of the effort is very, very essential for us to have a collaborative work to protect our child and youth. So look, is there any way to just increase the, yes, okay. So, so I will just read some of the key messages here. So just comparing the category 1 and 2 and 3, the most influential, most important risk for the youth is, in this year, was the illegal and harmful contents risks. But there's no significant difference among these three categories. So each category is almost as equally important for the youth. And this is some comparison of the test questionnaires in 2014 and how the youth and child actively responding to these risks or not. So I could say that 70% of the youth has this very positive opinion against protecting themselves. So such and such, and what should be highlighted now is youth or children should be responsible for protecting themselves. All right. So of course we can do, as adult people can do anything, something to protecting them. But the most important thing is to let them encourage them to have opinion and the positive action to protect themselves. So this is what we have learned by indexing the demographics, the risks of the children cyberspace. Okay, so I will spend a few minutes to highlight the other experience from Japan, which is from the Yahoo Japan Corporation, which is Mochizuki-san, Mr. Mochizuki's company. So we have the Safer Internet Association in Japan, and this is the member of the INHOP, International Association of Internet Hotlines. So maybe you are very familiar with. And these are the membership is coming from the many Japanese companies, including the Yahoo and Trend Micro and Mixi, Amazon and Cyber Agent. So we have a collaborative teamwork in Japan to quickly respond to any risks of the child or youth. So you might not be able to look into this chart, but I just wanted to say this is a combination of the various stakeholders. So not only these companies in Japan, but also the youth themselves, and government, and teachers. Many stakeholders are accessing this SIA, Safer Internet Association, and given the many informations. So all the information are collected and feedback to the others. So this sort of the collaborative platform is very, very essential. So, and this cannot be only the domestic. So I would like to say that only the 5% of these threats are coming domestically. So in other words, 95% is coming from the overseas, outside Japan, in Japan's case. So this is for the total, and for the child sexual abuse, only 3% is domestic. So we have to take care to extend this collaboration into the global scale, and before that, maybe an Asian Pacific scale. So yes. So just taking for the example, the child sexual abuse contents, and the rate of the removal in the foreign website. This is a result of this SIA's effort. So they are successfully eliminated 79% of the sexual abuse contents from the foreign website. So this is a very good number, but we are not satisfied. So we have to improve this with the collaboration with you and many other stakeholders in the world. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yokozawa. I'd like to open the floor for Q&As, but because we started, 15 minutes late, so if you have any questions, so I would like to invite one or two questions. Did you have any questions? Or maybe, if not, we can proceed. Okay. All right, so we're going to proceed. So the next speaker is Ms. Veronica, so please.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for being here with us. It's never easy to stay until the end of IGF. I guess many people leave, but anyways, we're trying to make a good session out of it. I would like to start by saying that and this is a message to IGF organizers probably, I'm a bit disappointed by not having made more efforts to bring in people to really listen to youth. I mean, we have youth representatives, and I don't know where are the people listening to youth. So, but okay, I'm gonna start, and then I can complain more formally to IGF with you together, maybe. I think we should make a statement, actually, for next year, because youth is here, they made the effort, and we need people to listen to them. But anyways, my presentation, I'm the executive director of InHope. InHope is the International Association of Internet Hotlines. And I wanted to start with something that I've been hearing a lot at IGF and at a lot of conferences lately, which is, we all are talking about the next billion users. And I just Googled next billion users, and these are the kind of things that you can find on the internet when people talk about next billion users. These are the pictures that you get, like Google targeting next billion users, Facebook, big companies, but also these kind of gentlemen, they usually appear on the pictures. It's really picture, I mean, if I ask any of you, I mean, what do you think this guy on the left or the one on the right do? What would you think? Do you think they're professionals? Do you think they have gone to the university? Who thinks that these guys have studied beyond high school? I do. So, and I think that creates some of a problem. We have the impression that the next billion users are these kind of people, highly educated, coming from different continents, with access to technology, with very modern devices. I think that's a bit, it's dangerous to talk about the next billion users and at the same time having international organization fostering universal, affordable access in least developed countries. This is a target. By 2020, the world wants to have connectivity everywhere. And that means the next billion users. But when we provide connectivity, when we provide universal access, and when we make it universal, there are also potential risks. And I think it's very important to be aware of what happens when you bring connectivity, when you bring the internet, and when you bring access to the regions of the world where they are dealing with other much more important challenges. So, for instance, look at these pieces of news. I mean, what is happening in India? India's busiest train stations have become a porn hub because people have gotten access to the internet. So they are not necessarily using it as they tell us that people are using the internet in a responsible way, that we need to be literate, that we are all like great about using the internet. So I think that we need to be very careful because when we target the next billion users, we should ask ourselves, are these users well prepared to take on this challenge? And I just got this graph from the World Development Indicators and UNESCO, and you can see that the highest amount of cell phone subscriptions do not match at all literacy rate. So you have in the poorest countries, lots of people with access to the internet now, to cell phones, but these people do not even know how to read. They don't even know how to write. So I think that we should also take into consideration what is the other phase of the next billion users. And I think that probably most of those billion users are gonna have this phase, and not the phase that I showed you at the beginning. This is also part of a reality. And if we're targeting emerging economies, these are the kind of people that are gonna be using the internet. But these are also the people who are going to be using the internet. Very little children from extremely vulnerable realities, they are also going to using it. So with universal access comes a huge responsibility. And I think it's very important to keep this image in mind. So remember that the next billion users are also girls like these, been probably targeted and exploited in different ways. And what organization does, and I'm proud to say this, we take this responsibility very seriously. And how do we do this? And exactly as the previous speaker said before, we work in a collaborative framework. We acknowledge that we cannot do this on our own. We are just a tiny drop in a huge glass of water, but we try to contribute. And how do we try to contribute? By providing reporting mechanisms for people, for citizens, so that whenever they are confronted with illegal material, with child sexual abuse material, what people usually talk about child pornography, líneas de denuncia in Spanish for the Spanish speakers here. So we provide an opportunity for people to tell us there's something wrong, I found something wrong, and something needs to be done about it. If no reporting mechanisms exist, people are gonna see this content and they don't know what to do. And even if they know it's illegal, many times people don't dare to tell the police that they found this because they're afraid. The police is gonna ask me, yeah, well, why are you sending me child pornography? Do you have anything to do with it? I mean, people don't know how this is gonna be dealt with. So this is why anonymous reporting mechanisms are so important. They are essential. And what we try to do in our organizations is to set up hotlines or líneas de denuncia, as I said in Spanish, so that people can report this and something can be done. So in the green image there, you see more or less how this is the generic process. Normally, a citizen sends a report, the hotline analyzes the report, they assess it according to their national legislation. Only if they confirm the material found in the image is real child sexual abuse material and it is illegal in that country, then they send a notification to the internet content, then they send and then trace the content. Because this is also huge. Why cannot we work on our own? Because a citizen in Mexico can find content. They can report a content to a hotline. Well, they cannot right now because they don't have one, and I'm really trying to set up one in Mexico, by the way. But if they have the opportunity, it's probably that when they find the content, they said, well, yeah, okay, we got it. It's really, I mean, a child was raped, and I'm looking at the picture, but I cannot do anything about it because the content is hosted in the US. So, by having an international cooperation as we do, we also provide the opportunity for the hotline working in Mexico, which I hope we will have next year, to send the report to Japan, to South Africa. They can send their report to Hong Kong. They can send it to Belgium because we are there. And then those countries will deal with that report. If that content is effectively legal, then they will contact the internet service provider so that that content can be taken down very quickly and avoid that the pictures are out there for obvious reasons because the child was already victimized. So can you imagine the stress of knowing that apart from being victimized, a picture of me was taken, a video of me was made, and I have no idea who's gonna see that video. So it's very important to take it down, but it's also very important to work closely with the police because the police needs to be able to support that child, find the child in the picture, and hopefully rescue it. So it's not just about taking the content down from the internet, which needs to be done in a legal, in a proper way so that we don't affect any other types of, we don't interfere with human rights, with freedom of expression, that we are really sure that what is taken down is only criminal activity, but also that we can save and support a child. So that's what InHope does, and this is how we work, and this is why we believe that it's so important that we have an international organization and mechanisms in place to work internationally. So currently we have 53 hotlines. We are present in 46 countries. Our members include all types of organizations, from governmental organizations to NGOs, internet service providers. We have 200 analysts working right now all over the world, and they are all trained by InHope, and also we work together with Interpol and with Europol as well in Europe. And what we do is we have an association where it's like where all our members work together, but we also have a foundation to support the development of hotlines around the world. And we believe that it's a very important task of InHope to reach the regions, to reach the countries where we are not there yet. So we can provide guidance, we can support in the process. It's a complex process. You just cannot set up a hotline. It's not opening a McDonald's. It's not a branch of a business. To set up a hotline, you need to have support from the government. You need to be able to operate, to view this content. You need to have a good relationship with the police and protocols to send these reports, but you also need to work with the industry. I mean, it's exactly what you mentioned before. I mean, you work in Japan very closely. You work with Yahoo, with other industry, with the police. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So why I think after what I told you, I hope I don't need to give you any more arguments of why it is important to join our network. And I think that's the only reason. It's like no country, no organization, no industry. I mean, nobody on their own can tackle this issue. So we need to work together. And if you look at our map, the map I'm presenting there, InHope, the association is green. The orange countries are the countries where we have a kind of project, and we hope these countries will become official members of the InHope network, full members of the InHope network very soon. But all the gray areas, we are not there. In those countries, there is no hotline that we know of, or there is they don't belong to our network yet. And I think it's very relevant, and I thank you very much for having invited me to talk about specifically these regions. It's Asia and Africa. We need more presence. We need to work together, but also Latin America. We are in Mexico, we need to say, I mean, we need to work together. I'm personally from Chile. I live in Belgium. I work in Amsterdam, and I do understand that it's important to work globally. So if you want more information, if you feel that you can talk to someone, one of your governments, an organization, say, look, hotlines are important, get in touch with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Veronica. Appreciate it. I think time is pushing, so maybe we had better go ahead. So the next speaker is Mr. Alsen. Please start your presentation.
Hi everyone, my name is Arsene Tungali and I'm happy to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting me to be as part of this panel. It's really great and always a pleasure to be, talking about one of those subjects which really matters for me. I'm a very young person, though I'm really connected to these issues of internet governance, but I know there are so many other people who are my age probably, but who have issues with everything safety online. And so it's always my pleasure whenever I have to talk or share my experiences. And today I'll be presenting some realities that we're facing in a country called the Democratic Republic of Congo. I don't know how many of you know where is the DRC. If you know where is DRC, just raise your hands. I would like just to. If you know where DRC is, if someone can show. Perfect. I understand. So if someone gives you a map and asks you to show where's DRC, I hope you'll be able to do it, because I mean it's the second largest country in Africa, and it's located at the heart of Africa. And so today I will be talking about how internet safety education has failed in DRC and the need for more action. So expect me to tell you what are the challenges that we're having in a country as big as, I think, Eastern Europe, and what we need to do. We need partnership with people like you. The DRC, we are currently at 3.6% of penetration, of internet rate penetration, which, as you can see, it's still very low. And someone will think maybe because there is internet is still very low in that country, probably there is less issues of safety for young people. But I'll let you know, we are having, some of the ways through which young people access the internet includes mobile phones. And that's what is really, really mostly used in Congo. So many young people are able to access the internet through mobile phones. Very little are able to access internet through Wi-Fi because we still have very few Wi-Fi hotspots where people can go and access the internet for free. We're also using cyber cafes, as you can see in that room, where there's a lot of laptops connected a lot of computers connected to the internet, and there you have to pay. I think for now, you pay $1 to access the internet for an hour. So $1 per hour to access the internet. Sorry? You use the mic, please.
No, just to have a reference, what is the average salary or the minimum salary in
Oh.
Congo to understand how expensive or cheap?
We are living in, I'm talking about an area where there's so many people live with less than $2 a day as income. And so if you have to access the internet using a cyber cafe, it's like $1 per hour in a cyber cafe. And so we're also using mobiles, using modem to connect to laptops. So probably that's why the internet is still at penetration at 3.6%. We're having a lot of challenges, and I'll be mentioning some of them. One of the challenges is access to the electricity. That's really, really huge, a huge issue in the country, because you cannot imagine accessing the internet even if you can't have at least access to electricity. You will not be able to charge your mobile phone. You will not be able to charge your computer. And so that's one of the challenges we're having, not only as young people, but as everyone internet user in the country. We also have like an issue with a challenge regarding infrastructure. Internet infrastructure is still very low, and we are really pushing for the government or any private sector company to really, really invest in building our infrastructure, because we cannot think of connecting the next billion if we don't invest in, building the infrastructure, which will help people, to have access to the internet. And as you can see on those pictures, those are some of the people who are maintaining some of the equipments. And so I'd like to touch a little bit about the main sources of basic education in the context of DRC. When a child is born in a family, the first level of education, or where they're expected to be educated in any subjects, is through the family. So when you are a child in your family, you expect your parents, your brothers and sisters, to be the first one to give you a basic education on how to live, on how to wear your clothes, right? On how to eat food, or how to do those basic things. You first hear them from your family. And then, in my context, you also get another type of education from your church. You get another type of education from your school, and then you get another type of education from the society or the community. And now I'll be talking about how internet safety education has failed at all these levels. That's why there is a real need of so many people to be involved in safety of children. Let's talk about the family. In so many families, you will notice parents have no idea about what's the internet. And so there is no way they will tell you how to use the internet, because themselves probably they don't use the internet. So imagine being raised in a family where your parents will always tell you, don't go to the internet because it's not safe for you. At least that's all they can tell you, but nothing else. They'll just tell you, don't go to the internet because we know that internet is not safe for you. But I think we need parents to be more and more educated, so that they won't just tell you, don't go to the internet, but they can tell you, go to the internet, but behave like this and this and this. Don't do this and this and this and this. But this is not really permanent in so many families. And so I can say that on the family level, internet safety education has failed in so many countries. I'm mentioning the DRC, but I think it will be the same for so many other African countries. Talking about schools, right? Every morning you go to school, right? And when you arrive to school, they give you so many things, but they don't talk about internet. They don't talk about internet safety, because either the teachers are not trained enough, or they are not well educated enough to be able, to understand anything which is related to safety on the internet. You'll go to school, they'll teach you mathematics, English, and biology, physics, and anything else. But there are very few of them, of your teachers, of even as part of your curriculum at school, who are putting like safety education or anything related to the internet as part of the curriculum at school. So I would say as well, internet education has failed in so many schools in my country. We need a lot of engagement to educate teachers. And even we are doing, my organization is doing a lot of advocacy in trying to convince the government to include at least the basic knowledge on internet in the national education program. And we hope with the support of so many partners, probably will be able to do it. Talking about churches, I don't know how many of you are going to church, I don't care. But in my context, at church, they'll tell you everything religion, but never tell you anything related to internet safety, all right? And as I was telling you, this is the third level of education where you get, young people get access to education. So the church will focus on anything religious, but never anything that can help you try to find ways to be safe while using the internet. And we're doing so many things to engage with church leaders. We're doing so many things to engage with even youth leaders in those churches so that they can just create conversations around internet things, internet topics, and internet safety. Because if someone fails, to have basic internet education from their family, then nothing is being done at school, nothing is being done at church. So imagine the next people that will be connected to the internet. What will they look like? So we are trying to connect the next billion of people to the internet, but we don't care about whether they'll be safe or not. So I'm really, this is a reality that I'm facing like as a challenge daily in my country. And that's why probably you can see how passionately I'm talking about this. And now, the fourth level is society or the community. And there is an African saying that says, if you fail to get an education in your family, the society or the community will take care of it. And when they're saying that doesn't mean that they expect the community or the society to give you the right education you need. But so many of the fake education that young people receive is coming from the community. Because there you have like different type of people. Some of those who are corrupted morally, some of those who are involved in child pornography, or those who are involved in all those bad things that young people can expect to get online. And so how can you expect to send your kids, if you don't educate your kids at home how they can best use the internet, if they are not well educated at school on how they can have access to the internet, if they cannot get educated in their churches how they can get access to the internet, don't expect the community to be the ones to tell them how to do it. And I'm really serious when I'm talking about this. So there is a real need. It's every single level of parents, of schools, of churches, and society or community leaders to talk a lot about anything that's related to the internet safety tools. That's why I'm saying there is a real need for companies, for organizations to get involved in online safety education in the part of the country where I'm living. And I know it's the same thing for so many other African countries. The government currently has no plan, but there are few organizations which are working in child online protection, including my organization. So what do we do? I'm the executive director of a small NGO called Roots International. And apart from all the other job we're doing, we're having a component where we educate young people and especially women on safety tools. We do it through workshops. So we want a couple of times during the month or as many times as possible as we can, we bring young people in the room and then we discuss about internet. And I remember one of the recent ones, we just brought people in the room and we're talking about Facebook. The topic of the day was Facebook. And when I say Facebook, I know so many people, young people use Facebook. I would say in my country, so many people are more connected to social media, including Facebook and WhatsApp and also Twitter and all those other online platforms. but less using other platforms. So many people are connected to social media. And so if I bring people in a room and we start talking about Facebook, everyone has something to say, because quite everyone is connected to Facebook. And in those kind of sessions, we are talking like, what do you post online? How do you deal with your privacy online? How do you do with, with whom are you sharing your contents? And what type of content are you sharing online? How can you protect yourself from your account to be hacked, for instance? How do you protect yourself from your account being hacked by someone and post like insane material on your accounts? And so discussing some of those things, and we educate them on how they can best protect their privacy, how they can protect their passwords, how they can, all those safety tools that will allow them at least to have control over what they are sharing online, over what they are putting online. So this was in 2012. Oh yeah, a few years ago already. We're celebrating the World Telecommunications and Information Society Day, and in this room, so many women were present, and it was really, really a great event. This was in 2013. We are doing regularly as annually Girls in ICT Day events, which is an annual event that was put in place by the International Telecommunication Union, with whom we are quite in a kind of a collaboration. And so in this room again, we're talking about, here we were talking about Facebook on this day, and we had a very nice debate with young people in the room. Now, I think I'll be finishing my presentation by calling up to him. I know InHope is in the room. I know Yahoo Japan is in the room. I know so many people here coming from different background or information. We really, really need to educate the future digital citizens and help them create a safer online environment. We really need it before it's too late. Because if we talk on connecting the next billion to the internet, and if we don't start today, educating them on how they can be safe online, we'll be bringing so many people online, but we'll be only advocating for a lot of harm more than a lot of good for them. We need to bring education discussions close to the students. We need to go into schools and have debates. We need to bridge the digital divide between men and women, which is still another issue which is really, really very passionate about. And finally, I think we can do more if we are together. Thank you so much for listening.
Oh, thank you, Arsene, for the presentation. So the time is pushing again, so maybe the next presentation, please. It's all right.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for sitting here in such an early morning. I understand it's so hot. I'm Raymond, and I'm the mission ambassador from Hong Kong, and she's Shelley, the representative from Hong Kong IGF. We are going to talk about this from a Hong Kong context. Interestingly, what the previous speakers talk about is related to what we speak. You can think of this from a comparative perspective. So agenda is, I will first talk about IG in Hong Kong context and NRIs, and then Shelley will share her experience from Hong Kong IGF. I want to ask one simple question first. How many of you will use forum to discuss with people now? Forum. You will, okay. Okay, not using ICQ. How many of you know what is ICQ? ICQ. Snapchat. How many of you use Snapchat? Use Snapchat. Okay. This is okay, it's my personal story. I used ICQ before. I used MSN Messenger before. I use Senga, but I don't know whether you guys know this. And then use Facebook, WhatsApp, and then I don't use Snapchat, and she used Snapchat. This is our conversation. How generation change. This is so fast that they don't know Senga, they don't know MSN, but I'm using MSN as my memory. Interestingly, there's a US young guy, 19 years old, he wrote an article, A Teenager's View on Social Media. If you're interested, you may look on this. He did a very short research on, okay, how do the teenagers use social media differently? Just like our conversation, I use Facebook, MSN, Senga, she used Snapchat, and then the youngest one used a new one that we don't know how to communicate actually. That's why I think the first thing is attitude does matter. That whether you will communicate with the younger to know what are they actually using. For example, in Africa, they use a lot of Facebook, but maybe in Hong Kong, the young, or USA, they use a lot of Snapchat, Instagram. They no longer use Facebook now, the secondary student. I want to talk about 2 short stories on my, even Hong Kong, not only Congo, not only DRC, secondary education and cybercrime, school education. This is my school education in the internet. They talk how to use the paint. Also, I taught in one school before. I talk with the teachers, and they don't know how to use Microsoft Word. So not only DRC, but also Hong Kong fails in the school education because the government does not require the teachers to learn how to think of this thing. They only requires the student don't touch it or don't use it. They're not asking you don't use it, but they are always telling you, oh, this area is dangerous. For example, we will talk something on the forums and Senga, or maybe say something bad about the school, and then they will just use those words to give us some demerit and then ask us not to post anything in the internet anymore. So their attitude is not using them, not touching them, and this is totally failing the students. Because the schools never talk about it, although my father is in the IT sector, but he doesn't know a lot about internet governance because Hong Kong never talk about it. Recently, I encountered a cybercrime experience. I don't know whether you guys have heard of the spam, cybercrime sex spam. Somebody approach you saying that, oh, may I be a friend, and maybe have some cyber sex. And then I know what they're doing, so I pretend that I don't know. And then I call the Hong Kong police. I check that the location is from Philippines. And then the Hong Kong police doesn't care me. They said, we don't have the evidence. And then they just stopped. But I understand because I saw from the map that Philippines, Hong Kong, China, Asia is not on the InHopes network. Okay, not yet. Not, hopefully. And I think all this thing is interconnected with what the previous speakers are talking about and my personal experience since I was born. I'm now 22 years old. Therefore, I think action does matter, not only attitude. And similar to what they have done, we have been doing NET mission, the regional youth IGF and the local initiatives from this year. So from 2010, we have been doing the regional IGF, youth IGF, to engage the youngster because maybe the older adults are not that open to new ideas. So we try to, okay, the youngster may you be more open to the internet governance thing, to engage them with the governance or participate in the IGF things, workshops, seminars. This is the regional IGF. Maybe some of you have attended, yes, in Taipei. We do a lot of things that they know more than me, maybe, because they had the experience. Role play, wildlife, future initiative, engagement. And then maybe may I now pass to Shelley to talk about the Hong Kong IGF.
Good morning, everyone. This is Shelley. I'm a high school student and the representative of IGF. Last summer holiday, I've participated in Hong Kong IGF, and there are a total of 3 main highlights in the program. Yeah, at the beginning, netizens the terms that Hong Kong students never heard that before was introduced in the seminars. And after that, we've gone to an internet governance training camp, opportunities to learn and communicating with guests from different industry, government, and NGOs were provided. Next, we can fully apply what we've learned before and prepare a promotional video to raise awareness of the general public in Hong Kong, especially our peer on how to maintain a secure cyberspace. Let me show you some of the video. Yeah, this video is about online shopping, and the information was misused by different, maybe by other people, and they need to pay a larger amount of money, although they didn't buy anything. Yeah, after that, we have a submit is related to the internet issues like privacy and security was held, and we were fully engaged in it, and we share our point of view towards the issue and exchange our opinions with different stakeholders. And being one of the participants, I did know more about the role of youth in an Internet Governance Forum and the importance of awareness building in Hong Kong. Although we are youth, what we could do is more than we expected. We can influence our peers, influence our community, and influence our future. After IGF, we would like to take this responsibility to hold YIGF 2017 in the next year and influencing people with our own experience later. Yeah, last but not least, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce the toolkit to you all capacity building materials of HKYIGF prepared by NAMISHN ambassadors can be searched by the QR code. All the materials here can be maybe shared by each other or shared in different countries, and we can do more about capacity building on youth people. Yeah, hopefully more youths are allowed to unleash our potential and our voice can be heard in the future. Thank you.
Just 30 seconds to wrap up. I think this topic is important, safe and secure cyberspace for youth in the new internet era. So we're capping on what we have discussed for youth. That's why we have to keep on listening to the more younger one. Even me, I have to listen to them. And then the new internet era is keep on changing. That's why I think for solution, there may be some more cross-age dialogue, cross-region dialogue, cross-institutional dialogue, and also with good attitude and actions. Thank you very much. If you're interested, you can talk with more. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Appreciate it. So once again, I thank all the panelists to make your presentations. Actually, now it's 10 a.m. So, I'd like to combine actually, I was supposed to conduct 2 panel discussions, but because of the time, so I'd like to combine 2 panel discussions, and I'd like to show the 3 key questions. So, please hold on a second. Okay, Okay, thank you. So after listening to the activities by the government and the private sector, and also the international associations like IHOP, and also that we listen to the youth perspectives, how we're going to educate children online, and also how to protect children, and education is very necessary. So now we'd like to talk about these three key questions. So first, I'd like to actually, I was supposed to ask three key questions one by one, but because of the time, so I'd like to, each panelist may pick up one question or questions to answer, and I'd like to invite, some comments from the panelists. So, who goes third? Okay, Dr. Yokozawa, please.
Well, before regarding this specific questions, I have some questions to InHope. All right. So yes, thank you for the very nice presentation and very good demographics of the activities. My question is, I believe InHope has very good statistics in which country, how many, access or how many malicious activities. And maybe in some countries there's some there's some difference between the countries, and which is the most important or most influential to the youth. So is any of the statistics already available from InHope, or so that we can utilize that the numeric data to have common assessment of what is the status of the use of the internet is?
Thank you very much for your question. I think I was probably going to ask you also a question as a researcher. We do have data on hosting, basically, and notice and takedown procedures. That's basically what we do. So we know from our members which countries they're more content hosted. But unfortunately, as you can imagine, hosting is not necessarily a good indicator of where cybercrime or of where crime is occurring. So we do have statistics, but mainly about hosting and about how quickly our members are reacting and how fast they are working to take content down together with internet service providers. And yes, these are available on our website. But I think it is also very important that other organizations work together with us so we can get a better idea of where crime is happening. And I think these are statistics that law enforcement probably manages better than we do. But in terms of hosting, we also, I think because of the nature of the crime, because we are talking about illegal material, it's also very difficult to know who is actually consuming this content. So to have an idea of the consumers is also very, very, very difficult. I mean, you can understand it's not that you can go out there and ask, okay, how old are you? Where do you live? How much child pornography do you consume on an everyday basis? So there are lots of challenges for research. And I think we also need to engage the academic community so that we can try to find ways to share data and get better results. But from our website, we do have infographics, and at least on these areas.
Okay, thank you. So, any comments from your perspectives?
I think we, the mic. I think who are responsible for the protection of youth online. I think everyone has a role to play. Everyone has a role to play. And the governments, I think my government, talking about my governments, they need to set up a plan. Like saying, here is our policy, or this is our plan in order to help young people be safe while they are connecting to the internet. I think even network providers also have kind of a responsibility, but this needs to be looked at seriously, because if we give them more power looking over this, they can be the ones that will be working on preventing young people to get online, because that would be kind of censorship or surveillance. So this is a crucial like stakeholder which needs to be looked very closely. We have content providers. Yes, they are the ones that puts content online. We are actually all responsible of the content we're putting online, and so we need to be careful about what content we're posting. For instance, now we are this age today, but tomorrow or in the next 5 years, the content we put today will still be available on the internet. And if the content wasn't good, we can expect the people, the younger ones that will have access to that content 10 or 5 years later, that content won't be suitable for them. I think parents have a huge responsibility because they are the ones that see us the first time. So as I was saying, families need to have discussions over these kind of questions and make sure their kids are well informed or are aware of anything that is available on the internet, so that, because we trust more our parents more than anyone else. I don't know whether it's the same case everywhere, but I do trust my parents more than anyone else. So if my parents engage me in the discussion on online safety tools, I'll be really, and I'll take it very seriously. So parents, schools, and even youth themselves, if you are educated enough, you know which content you don't have to see. And sometimes we go to the internet and we see there are some content which are rated, but because of curiosity, we are tending, to click on those contents, though we know that this is only probably content which is suitable for adults or for just a certain category of people. But if we are educated enough, we'll be able to see whenever we see a link which is rated like only for adults, we don't need to click on that content because that content is not appropriate for us. I think young people, we need to know that and be aware of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your comment. So I got one question from the participants. Thank you. So please.
Thank you for giving me the floor. My name is Jutta Kroll. I'm representing the German Center for Child Protection on the Internet. And I wanted to thank all the panelists for their good presentations, especially for demonstrating how all the educational institutions are failing, the institutions and the families are failing the children in educating them. At the center I'm working for, we have set up like a model case called Intelligent Risk Management. And this is a model that includes all the stakeholders that you've named in your first question, who are responsible for the protection of youth online. And the most important thing is that not all stakeholders have to play the same role at all ages. So when we look at the smaller children, parents obviously and family has the most important role to play, but also they can be supported by technology that keeps children away from harmful content. But that would not work for the older children, and I completely agree with Arden. It could not be the case that older children and teenagers are prevented from having access to content that might be useful for them. So when it's called intelligent risk management, it's like a process of the younger children being more guided, then they get the education to be more empowered to protect themselves so that they are able to make the best out of the internet. And I think that would be good to have this kind of like a structure that could also help governments to set up a plan like it was suggested by Asen. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your wonderful comments. Appreciate it. So maybe I think someone has any comments, further comments on her comments. So that no. Okay, you can.
And Jutta, thank you for your positive remarks. I'm also thrilled to be actually with people from different generations, and that it's amazing to hear that you consider yourself from different generations when you are probably only 5-6 years difference between each other. And I think that's exactly why it is important to have these panels, because we as adults, we tend to see the world divided into two. I mean, adults and children. I mean, the differences between the children younger than 18, between youth, are huge. So I think I would like to advocate for more presence of the people who are actually, we're trying to protect people, we are not inviting them to talk about what matters to them. I was very impressed by looking at your video, Shirley, and I have to say that when I saw it, I really didn't get the message very well. But then when you said it's about online shopping, because when I think about online child protection, it would never come to my mind that online shopping is an issue, because the children I know, or the young people I know, are not really active on the online world, but in Hong Kong it's an issue. And so I think this calls for, it's not only a global approach, but actually we need to recognize cultural differences, and we need to stop thinking that Europe or the United States or the developed world and the developed world only at the center of the world, because the world shouldn't have a center. I mean, the world has a center depending on where you look at it from. So the center is not Europe, and Europe is doing very well, I think, compared to the rest of the world when you think from a European perspective. I don't think that developing countries are doing great at sharing their best practices. I don't think that global initiatives are seriously taking into consideration what it means to be a child in countries that are not present at the IGF. Just because they don't have the resources to be here, we are not hearing their voices. And that was the case that we also had. One of our panelists told us that he couldn't make it because he couldn't secure funding to come. I mean, these things shouldn't happen. And I think I would advocate, we talk a lot about collaboration, we talk a lot about doing things together, we talk about a global approach. I think we should also start talking about solidarity. So if the countries that have progressed in this area should share best practices, should take care of the countries which are not as advantageous and which do not have the same resources or the same quality of life, and they should take care about other countries. We should create platforms so that people can really go there and teach things that could matter. We should also open the dialogue so that people talk about what really matters to them. We need to know that some children in some part of the world, in Hong Kong, they need to be educated about online shopping and not necessarily about issues which we as adults and we as European-centric world or US-centric world think that the problems that our youth have in these continents that are the same everywhere. So I would also call that for accepting the differences, but also being more helping the countries that need our help more.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. And I think, Raymond and Charlie must have the comments on her comments, so please.
No, maybe. You people?
Yeah, I would like to take this opportunity to point out that some of our voices, the youth voices, are seldom aware by others. Yeah, because some of them will think youth are not experienced as them, so we will not have much chances to express our feelings, but it's a great chance for us to express our opinions in IGF. I do hope that more regions will provide more chances for youth to participating in the forum, and they can share their own opinions. As we already discussed above mentioned before, that there are really a gap between the youngsters and the older generation. As we all know, the apps that we are using are totally different, and maybe the different issue in different countries, it varies. So I do think that more youth, the users nowadays, the youth can voice out their feelings and what happened in their daily life. It would be more important in the discussion. I do think that just mentioned before, we would like to share our own experience, our resources with all of us. Maybe some of the country will not have the IGF and discuss about having the forum for the kids to talk about IG. And there are 2 kits provided to all of you that these are open resources for all of you guys to take it, and you can share the materials or maybe get it and take it as a reference and maybe hold a local IGF in your country. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. I want to take this final chance to thank all of you to talking with us. I know we are young, and I'm older than you. I'm older generation of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment. Appreciate it. So, Yeah, actually, after listening to the your comments, I think the education is utmost necessary, and each stakeholders and each generation must play respective roles in protecting youth and educate the younger generations. But it must be supported by technological methods or some other things. So I found someone raised your hand. So please your comment.
Yes, hello. I'm from Hong Kong YMCA, and I just have a short question for you guys. Just in Europe, maybe education can be a very good choice and ideal choice, but I think in some of the Asia countries or in Africa, there's no such resources and money to do education. I think some kind of restriction is needed to protect children, because these countries can't do much education to protect children. Thank you.
So does anyone answer the questions? We have still 10 minutes to go. So.
Well, there is some ironic dilemma for the people who want to educate the younger generation. For example, in the Asian or the African or even in Japan, for the very first time, we just introduce young children to use the internet. The question is that the usage of the internet will be the first, or the use with the security education will be the first. So it means that at the first moment of the child touch on the computer or the smartphone, there is two choices. One is let them play as they want, so no interference. This is not good, this is good. We don't say anything. So just let them learn what is the internet, what is the network is. This is of choice one. The choice two is just looking at the children and just suggest them this is not good. At every time they just look into the malicious website or something like that. So this is some paradox for us. And answering to your question, to have the simultaneous education to the usage of the internet and the security education at the same time cost twice as much as the effort and the cost. So, this approach is very, very important for us. And if you think about the overall cost and the effort, it might be less than the choice one, that no security education at the first moment. So, nobody has the answer to this, but at least in every country in Africa and Asia, if the children want to touch on the internet, they have the opportunity to do this. So the self-learning or even the usage of the Facebook or any kind of the social network for the security education could be a saving of the time and the resources for us. Okay.
Thank you so much for your comments. So any further comments or questions? Okay, please.
I'm also from Hong Kong, and I study public administration, so I kind of touch a bit on how the government spend money. I think, yeah, we need money, we need funding to improve the internet governance education. But, okay, specific to local context, Hong Kong government has money, but it doesn't spend on internet governance education. I'm not sure of the other regions, but that's the problem of Hong Kong. So, if you ask me for the solution, I think apart from youth engagement, we may have to do some more lobbying. That when you have the contact with some government officials, you have to talk with them, hey, this is important, that you have to look at it. And if you're not looking at it, some more problems might arise. And at that moment, you may not don't have time to tackle with it. That's my personal comment. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your comment. So, Veronica, please.
And I thank you for your question because it's a very critical question. I think many times we get together, we all come to the same conclusion. We need more education, we need to do more, parents need to get educated. We never talk about how are we gonna do it. I mean, we all know that that needs to happen, but we don't know where are we gonna get the money to do it. What are especially the regions which are more vulnerable are the ones that need more infrastructure, more resources, more money, which exactly they do not have. So I think what Jutta Kroll said before, it's very important here. So we also need engagement from the industry. So they need to have a commitment that when they develop things and put them available for youth and for children, these things should be, these technologies, these services, they should also be built with safety in their mind. You cannot just have user friendliness as the key thing driving the development of new technologies. Technologies are not just to be fun and to be user friendly and to be like ways of collecting data and targeting people in ways that we don't know. They should also be safe and they should be secure and they should take the responsibility to track, but not to track, I mean, I don't mean here like do not violate the privacy of what people are doing, but take the responsibility, and we need to be creative here. I don't know how we are gonna be protecting people, understanding what's happening in the platforms if we also don't want to have surveillance to interfere with it. So I think we are confronted with very big challenges because sometimes we have security versus privacy. And we need to be very careful in which way we move on. But the technology moves too fast, legislation moves too slow, and innovation just goes much more ahead than any framework that can protect children, youth, or normal citizens of coming across content. So I think we should think more about what we do, but build in also security into the services. I mean, that without interference with other human rights, of course. So I don't know what is the answer. I'm sorry, and I'm very glad you raised the question. But I think solidarity, I think that should also keep in our minds, that countries that can do more should help the countries that are doing less, and we should take that responsibility also as governments.
Okay, thank you very much for your comment. So I really want to, continue to this discussion, but we have 5 minutes left. So I'd like to invite, the final few words from the all panelists. So is it all right?
Okay.
Question? Okay, yes, okay. Sorry. Yes.
Well, just one word. Hearing to all of the discussions here, I just convinced that this keyword is very, very essential. It is security by design, all right? So it covers all or most of the other discussions here we need to improve. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please.
I'm really thankful for the opportunity that was given to me. I mean, it's always a pleasure, when sharing, talking about those issues that are really of interest to me, and sharing from my own experience and my own perspective. So it's really good. Thank you so much for this presentation. And as Veronica said, I think we need next year, for instance, if we all make it to the IGF, encourage or do more advocacy or a lot of outreach so that this event is put on the right time, probably at the very beginning of the IGF, to make sure we have so many people participating. And because I believe so many people need to hear these stories. Not everyone is interested in anything child online safety, though it's really, really crucial and really, really important. So thank you so much. And should you need to contact me, I'll be around.
Thank you very much. So, Veronica, please.
I've talked enough. I think that we should make the commitment to come back, and really, I support Arsen. We need to be heard, and we need to ask people to put young people and to put the regions of the world which are never heard, to put them at the front of IGF. It's about internet governance. We need to find ways to bring these people, and see you next year.
Thank you very much. So please. Okay.
Yeah, just thank you for providing that great platform for us to share our own experience, and it's quite amazing for us to exchanging different opinions here with different stakeholders. Yeah, thank you.
I do hope that maybe Hong Kong has more connection with other best practice cities, and I hope the officials or the people with power can listen to other people.
Okay, thank you very much for all of your comments and also the questions as well. So, after this session, yeah, you got some information, knowledge, or expertise to how to protect user online. And also the most important thing is to, that each stakeholder, must play respective roles in protecting children. But at the same time, internet is open and global, so that people should share their knowledge and experiences together at here Internet Governance Forum, and try to arrive, adjust, or just try to find solutions, how to protect, online in each or respective countries. So I really like to continue to discussion next year, as Bianca said, and also, we are fully committed to participate in, national, regional IGF, and to hold a workshop to, enhance, awareness to protect, user rights. So today, thank you very much for attending this session, and we are looking forward to working together. Thank you very much for your kind attention.